As you can see from these pictures, this truck was covered in dog hair. When I opened up the doors, it was a windy day and all this just started flying out. It was so much. So here are some pictures of what I was doing before and then just a few other areas of the car as well. But what I started doing here was just go one pass over with the vacuum to get as much as possible. And so you can see it's picking up some, but there's definitely a lot that it's not quite picking up on. So that's why I have my handy dandy tools to help me out with this. The customer told me that he started working on this and then just kind of gave up and he threw his hands up in the air and called me. And so I'm glad he did because he actually filled a spot in my empty schedule that day, so that worked out pretty well. But this tool I'm using here is the Lily brush. You've probably seen it before if you've watched my other videos, or my other dog hair videos at least. And so the way it works is just kind of a piece of rubber that works somewhat well at moving this hair around. And so there's actually a few different tools that I use, and I'll get to those throughout the video. But the way I structure these videos is I do the first pass without anything to just kind of give you an idea of what you would be looking at if you didn't have any of these other tools. And so it does pull kind of this, without the lily brush, just the vacuum just pulls this top layer off. But then the lily brush is needed to kind of pull it all into one spot and loosen it and to pull it up. And so you can see here I have to do several different passes just to get this stuff up. You can see that there's still some stuff here, but that's the before and then that's the after. So it did quite a bit. There's obviously still a little bit of stuff there, and the reason for that is, obviously did get it, but the way that the dog hair works is that for the first minute you get 80% of it, and the second minute you get 20%, so to speak. And so I don't think you guys want to be watching me get every last piece. That would get kind of boring and it's not so satisfying. So I only filmed the first part, but rest assured I do get all of it. But as you look here, here's on the opposite side, you can see all this hair just sitting on the back of the seat in the top left corner. That's the other tool I was mentioning that is similar to the lily brushes, except it has a bunch of grooves. It's a triangle, so there's actually 3 different sizes of those grooves. So I don't know if it works better or not. I kind of just prefer the lily brush just because it's what I'm used to, but whenever I'm on a job like this, I try to use all of my different options. I have 3 or 4 different options. There's the before and the after, so you can see that we got quite a bit out there. But I do try to use a few different options to just kind of see what works best. And so as I did the first pass on this one, you can see that not much happened. But the lily brush to the rescue, I'm just going to start pulling all of that down and just vacuuming it up. If you watched my last video, you know that I briefly mentioned or hinted at this video. So if you watched that, thanks for watching that one. If you haven't seen that one, that is a similar dog vehicle. Not a lot of dog hair because the owners rarely get most of that. It was a new car that they bought, but there was a lot of stains and just dirt everywhere. It was really, really bad. So check out that one if I'll throw it up at the end. But make sure to also stay tuned to the end for pictures. I have my before and after pictures. And on this seat right here, you can see that there's a bunch, not so much. Obviously, like I said, there's still a little bit left. Relax, I get it later for sure. I just don't film it all because it's just not as entertaining. But here you can see the lily brush, swiping from left to right. It's not working as well as I feel like it used to. I don't know if it's wearing out or maybe this fabric was just different. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But just so you know, all of these video clips here are double speed, so that should give you an idea of how long this takes. And this dog hair, like I said, it was everywhere. It was on all the seats, all the floors, underneath the seats. The owner of this car actually, or this truck, actually had a gun safe in the car between the 2 front seats. And so I tried my best to get around it, but that thing was bolted down pretty good. And so I explained that to him at the end. I said, look, I did my best with the accessibility here. He wasn't worried at all because it looked like a whole new vehicle after, because it was black and not white, like it was in the beginning. But yeah, I am a bit selective about which clips to use and which parts of the car, just because I know I'm trying to understand what exactly you guys like to watch, so I try to make that. But here we are. There's a before and after, and then I'm going to just pull this camera back to get this next seat. I mentioned that I have a few different tools, and so I obviously have the lily brush. You can see right there the vacuum did do quite a bit on the first pass. I have the lily brush and then the black triangle thing. I have another one called the Fur Eagle, which is an attachment that you put onto the end of your vacuum. Now I don't use that one very often just because I feel like, I don't know, I just prefer the Lily brush. And then I also have kind of another brush that kind of looks like a hairbrush, but it's just all rubber. Actually, I lost that one. I don't know where that one went, so I haven't used that in a while. But here's some pictures. Hopefully you like watching this kind of stuff, and thanks for sticking around.